Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the annual California Music Educators Association Capital Section Honor Orchestra. My name is Christopher Tootle, and it is my great privilege to serve as the Capital Section's president. And it's also my honor to welcome you this evening and open tonight's concert. Before we begin, I'd like to discuss two short things: advocacy and then some recognition. Everybody here to listen to, everybody excited to listen to some incredible musicians today? Yeah? Yeah, fantastic. And by the looks of it, we have at least 50 musicians on stage, maybe 60. Anybody got a count? This is 85. I need to learn to count better. And this is just the middle school group. It's just the middle school. And of course, high school coming later. Your children do some incredible things in the practice rooms and on stage at their schools, making great music together. And you're going to get to benefit from their hard work today. And I'm sure we're all going to have a wonderful time. With those thoughts and feelings of joy and pride, I'd like to ask you to take those feelings home with you on the weekend or next week. And before the memory fades away into just last weekend, make sure to reach out to your children's teachers, their school principals, and the school district administrators, like the superintendent or assistant superintendent, and the school board, of course. I just want to invite you to write a nice note or email to them, to the administrators and teachers, thanking them for their support of your child's music education. Because special events like this honor orchestra can't happen without their support and the support of the educators in the classroom. Perfect opportunity for you to say, hey, this happened on the weekend. My kid was a part of this honor orchestra. Thank you for your support. It goes a long way for continuing excellent music education in the Capital Section region. So the advocacy piece. And the second part is I'd like to recognize some extremely hardworking teachers who have produced today's event. You know, something like this takes months and months, a whole year of planning in advance, and untold hours of donated time. So I'd like to just recognize our site host and then our high school, Capital Section's high school orchestra representative and middle school orchestra representative, Mr. Jorge Munoz McClatchy here, and Mr. Paolo Reyes, and Miss Shari Gueffroy here on the side. Capital Section is very grateful for your time and effort. Thank you. Without further ado, Mr. Reyes.
All right, well, hello everyone. Welcome to the California Music Education Association Capital Section Honor Orchestra. As you just heard, my name is Paolo Reyes, High School Orchestra Representative, and joined here with me, Shari Gueffroy, Middle School Orchestra Representative.
Today, you'll be hearing almost 200 students from over 18 different schools in the greater Sacramento region who are nominated by their music teachers to come together for a weekend of music, fellowship, and instruction from our two outstanding guest conductors.
So just a few housekeeping items. One, location of restrooms, very important. If you exit out through those double doors in which you entered, over to your left, you will see restrooms. Appropriately labeled. Location of exits in case of emergency, make sure you note them. Silence electronics. I know we have, we're all just wanting to watch and record these moments, these precious moments that are very just near and dear to us. But I would ask that you take this moment to just double check, make sure that your phones are on silent, turn the volume to its lowest so as to not disrupt your neighbors and everyone else in the audience. No flash photography, also very important. And let's be real, when you do flash photography, it never comes out as well as we would hope. So more importantly, sit back, relax, enjoy what your orchestra has to offer.
Be prepared to be blown away by the amazing music these kids are going to make in just a minute. But first, I have the great pleasure of introducing to you our middle school orchestra director. I am so pleased. Let me see. I just kind of went out of order. So. Pleased to introduce our first conductor of the evening, Maestro Greg Brucker. Since 2004, he spent his career educating young musicians and conducting youth ensembles in the Sacramento and Davis region. Since its inception in 2007, Mr. Brucker has been the conductor of the Vivace Strings Orchestra of the Sacramento Youth Symphony and Academy of Music. He has recently taken the helm as the overall music director of Harper Junior High School in Davis. He is a performing bassist. Mr. Brucker has held the principal double bass chair for the Folsom Lake Symphony since 2010 and is a regular substitute in the bass section of the Stockton Symphony. Among his many accolades, in 2023, Maestro Brucker received the Outstanding Orchestra Educator Award from the California Music Educators Association Capital Section, which is what we're all here for today. I am, again, so excited to introduce both a friend of mine and an amazing conductor, Greg Brucker, and the principal, our concertmaster, Alyssa Lynn.
Good afternoon, good evening, I guess it is here, everybody. My name is Greg Brucker, and it is an immense pleasure to be here with this amazing set of young musicians who have, in a very short period of time, put together some pretty darn difficult music. And it's really been phenomenal to watch how seriously they've taken it. It was very clear from the beginning, they all practiced. This is good. It's true. And, from the first downbeat, it was really clear that we had something special here with this group. And I just wish that we had these kinds of things we could do more. It really is a lot of work and effort for everybody. But it is such a great experience to have, to bring kids together from all over the area to be able to play together and really work at a higher level of expectation. This is, of course, why we call it an honors level event. That there's that high expectation of being able to walk in, know your stuff, and be ready to perform. And not just that, we spent, several hours last night and played all day today. They're a little worn out. It's a long day, especially for some of our younger ones in 6th grade. But they just did an absolutely brilliant job through it all. So what we just played, maybe, can I do this? How many of you have heard that before? Heard this music before? Not a lot. So this is a piece, Sobre las Olas. For a long time, it was confused to be a Johann Strauss Jr. waltz. It was considered the waltz king. All the famous waltzes you've heard, for the most part. Tchaikovsky wrote some great ones too, of course. But this was mistaken for one of his. And it isn't. And one of the very few times, there's not a lot of composers of this, genre, style of orchestral performance music that's written by folks that were in Mexico. This was written by a really unknown composer, Juventino Rosas, who is alive in Mexico and lived with indigenous heritage as much part of his background. This is 1868 is when he wrote it. And it was, obviously, it's been a very popular tune over the years, played a long time ago. So it's a real treat to be able to not only perform a piece, but be able to, learn about a Mexican composer who's just completely unknown otherwise. And there's not a lot of music of his that's out there, but we've got this, and it's an absolutely wonderful waltz. And, these guys did just a great job with it, which was really cool. So the next one that we're going to do is by another composer who my guess is many people haven't heard of yet. And if it's okay to ask again for show of hands, how many of you have ever heard of Florence Price? Huh. Well, there's that. So this is another amazing composer who, like so many, were not in the books that any of us, educators, teachers studied when we were in school. They were just all left out of the books. There is a large number of phenomenal composers that are part of historically marginalized communities, including just simply women, that were left out of the books for the long time. The focus was always, as we kind of joked around for a while in Davis, the music of the old dead white dudes, But at the same time, there's so much more to what was there. And there's a lot of amazing composers that are finally starting to be performed internationally that were not them. And Florence Price is one of the great American composers. She was the first African-American woman to have a major work performed by a professional symphony. It was back in 1933. She won an award for her first symphony, and there was kind of these little competitions and back then. And it was played by the Chicago Symphony at the World's Fair that year. And it was broadcast nationally live on the radio. And she became known back then. Born in the South, she went to the New England Conservatory in 1905 and 6 because they would accept African American people. It's one of the few conservatories that did at that time. And she was a brilliant pianist and organist. And unfortunately, as she kind of went through life, that she wasn't able to really get too far for, the reasons we understand in our history. And, she did get known, though, so much that when she was debuting her third symphony in one of her piano concertos, Eleanor Roosevelt heard of her and went to go hear her play and thought she was brilliant and wrote about her in her daily journal, which is online, I think, in the Library of Congress archives. Unfortunately, after she passed away in 1953, she was all but forgotten. And so the story is, and this is just fascinating, in 2009, a random couple bought a house in kind of that, backcountry in Illinois. And when they got there, they found the place ransacked. And when they were looking around, they found a ton of sheet music on the floor that looked kind of old. And they went and brought it to the local music store. And the guy that worked there saw the name and said, wait a minute, and looked it up, because, 2009, you could do all that pretty easily, and found that this was a composer from, 75 years earlier, who'd written a lot of works. And so they got in touch with where her collection and archive is at the University of Arkansas, Little Rock, where she grew up. And some of the folks from down there came up, and what these folks that bought this house had basically discovered was her lost works. Piano concertos, symphony, piano pieces, organ pieces, songs she wrote. She wrote many songs set to poems by Langston Hughes. And it was found, and mind-blowing. In her time, she was not able to get a publisher to actually publish her music. And so, as things are fortunately changing, and we're starting to really make sure that we offer justice to those who have been otherwise pushed to the side, one of the major publishers in the country started publishing all her music formally. And starting in 2017, her music is now being played internationally in professional orchestras. We just got to play it up in Folsom a couple years ago, the first symphony. I think they're doing the third symphony around. I don't know if one of the groups around here is doing the third. They're starting to play around. Her violin concertos are starting to be played. Her piano concertos are starting to be played. Her songs are starting to be sung again. Her piano works are starting to be performed. And it is an immense pleasure to be able to play this next tune of on our schedule or on a program here. Adoration was originally written for organ, and someone finally arranged it at 4 strings. And it's an absolutely gorgeous piece of music. And it is my absolute pleasure to be able to present this to you all as something that's really not played very much, because these are composers who should be known. They're an important part of our American history, and they deserve that respect simply for being an important part of our American music history. So, this is Adoration. Just before we finish with our last tune, in trying to pick kind of a fun program of really important composers and some unknown composers from many different eras and ages, we have to do some John Williams, you know. John Williams is absolutely the Beethoven of our time, in a long line of composers that focused on tonal, orchestral form and sound, as compared to some of the wild stuff that happened in the last century, which nobody really listens to for that reason. So it's wonderful that there's so much music out there for young people by some of these wonderful composers who write for movies, but their music is just on its own, in its own right, phenomenal, of the best. So we'll do that in a sec, but before we go, I just wanted to offer great thanks that I was able to be here today, all of the area teachers that have worked so hard with the kids. These guys are just doing phenomenal up here. I mean, this is a wonderful group of musicians all the way around. And to Shari and Paolo for organizing this, and for Jorge for taking care of the house and making sure everything was, taken care of us for here. It's a very nice hall to play in, a nice room. They put a lot of work in to make this work. It's a big lift to create a program and an event for 200 kids. And, it really was a wonderful few days spending time together with everybody and getting to see a lot of friends in the teaching business out here. So we have some recordings, I think, in back, which you might have heard about. Thanks to everybody doing all this different work here. And, most of all, earlier, like Chris said, thanks to you. And you're the ones supporting them, getting them places, getting them around and doing this. And we all hope that this feeling that we've got, we can bring it back to our communities and continue to push for more and more music education, more arts education, more of what I consider the heart of education. In building and developing a whole child, we can't just think of the academics in a way, the mind. But in order to create a fully well-rounded child, well-rounded person, you can't just nurture the mind, but you have to nurture the heart. And the arts are the heart of education. So this is it for us up here. It's been an absolute thrill to do this with everybody, and it's great to see so many people here as well. Thank you for all of your support. And it's time for some Star Wars. Take a little break. We'll be right back. Oh, never mind. I was wrong. This happens. Have a seat.
Everyone have a seat. Thank you. Give it up for again for the middle school orchestra. Bravo, Greg. Great work. Lovely, lovely. So, as per normal, as we do these things, because we do, we have a few scholarship announcements. Shari, take it away.
Okay. We so generously, the Sacramento Youth Symphony has given us some scholarships that were decided upon by directors, and so I have envelopes here. First and foremost, they have given every single student participating today a free audition in May when the auditions come up. So every single student, you guys all get to, it should have been on your stand, you guys can all audition with a scholarship for the Sacramento Youth Symphony. All right. So additionally, they have offered, and I think that's this one, every bass player back there, you guys all have a $500 scholarship for next year's tuition for the Sacramento Youth Symphony. So audition, and then I have envelopes for you guys with those scholarships in them. They're too far away from me, so. Okay, Paolo's gonna do that. We have 4 more Youth Symphony tuition, $500 tuition scholarships to give out. The first is to Jade Rodriguez in the cello section. Congratulations. Jeremy Lee, I think, is it Viola's right? Jeremy Lee, congratulations. Aretha Tai. And Maurice Johnson. Well, you guys are like packed so tightly, like sardines up here, but we will get you your scholarship envelopes. Congratulations, you guys. But wait, there's more. So Cazadero is an amazing music camp that's up, I believe, in the Redwoods. It's a 2 weeks of outside fun time and music. It's amazing. I've had a couple of students attend. I have a couple of $1,000 scholarships to give to some students. So I'm not going to make it over there, but we're going to make this work. So the first one is to Ananya Kulkani. Did I say that right? The second one is to Nicholas Burton.
As we're handing these out, students, please stand.
Oh yeah, stand. Good idea. He's the brains of the operation. I wrote this one, and I think it says Haley New. Is that right? Yeah, stand up, stand up, stand up. Y'all stay standing. Good. Shanika Go. Kathy Cho and Beatrix Woods. Congratulations, you guys. Okay, now you can sit. We'll get you your envelopes. You do photos?
Yeah, so at this point, we want to make this a parent photo opportunity for all of you. So I'm going to ask each row to stand for photos, starting with the back row. So back row musicians, please stand up. Fifth, please stand up. And I gotta get out of the way.
They don't want you.
Yeah, they don't want me. Okay. So if you see your child standing up, now's your time to take a photo.
Feel free to stand.
Yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right, next row, please stand up so that we can recognize all your efforts. Yeah, round of applause. Thank you. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Next row, please stand up and let's recognize these fine young musicians. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you. Next row, stand up. Yeah. Ten, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. All right, and front row, please stand up. And let's have everyone stand up as well. There we go. Okay. All right. So we will take a brief intermission to just reset the stage. I think give us maybe 10, 15 minutes to just do all of that. After our break, our high school orchestra will take the stage. So, high school orchestra members that are out there, get ready. Just kidding, they've already gone. Because they're so smart, and I am not. Okay, great. Let's take a break, intermission. Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. And thank you again for attending today's CMEA Capital Section Honor Orchestra performance. Before we begin the second half of our program, if you turned your cell phones back on, turn them back off. And now I would like to reintroduce my partner in crime, Paolo Reyes.
Why, thank you, Shari. So here is the high school honor orchestra. They've just done some fantastic work. I want to take this time to introduce our next conductor, Alexander Kahn. He's a professor of music and director of orchestral activities at Sonoma State University, where he's also in charge of the Sonoma State Symphony Orchestra and gives lectures on music and music history, as well as conducting. He is also an accomplished conductor. You'll see in his bio, he's held several conducting positions in numerous orchestras and festivals, both in the nation and in the world scenes. Some mentions Santa Rosa Symphony, Baltimore Symphony, Spoleto Festival in South Carolina. He was also the founder of the UC Berkeley Chamber Orchestra, where I think one of my students now plays at. And he's also, at one point, the music director of Bamberg Collegium Musicum in Germany. I am pleased to announce and introduce the CMA Capital Section Honor Orchestra under the direction of Maestro Alexander Kahn and this year's concert master, Ryan Zhu. Give them a warm round of applause.
We're going to tune here in just a minute, but before we start, I'd like to say thank you to Paula and Shari for inviting me here to conduct today and yesterday. It seems like I got here a million years ago, but it's really been less than 24 hours, which is really incredible. So thank you to both of them for organizing this wonderful festival. I'd like to thank everybody in the audience as well for coming out and supporting these musicians today. I'm a parent myself. I have a young musician as a daughter, and I drive her to her lessons and to her rehearsals and to the music store, and I know how much it is to be invested as a parent of a child who's in music, and I want to thank you. And I want the orchestra to thank your parents. Thank you, parents. Come on, give an applause for your parents. Yeah. We don't get that enough. And then, of course, I'd like to thank these incredible musicians. I was just thinking about it backstage. Like, when I conduct a professional orchestra, they have like 4 days and maybe 3 or 4 rehearsals to put a concert together. These students have had less than 24 hours to put together a very difficult performance, and I've just been so impressed by their dedication, by their maturity, by their focus. They've played many, many, many hours in the last 24 hours, and I'm just so impressed how much they've accomplished. So let's give a big round of applause for all the students on stage. All right, we're going to go ahead and tune and play then our first performance for you. That's going to be the Danse by Samuel Coleridge-Taylor. Samuel Coleridge-Taylor was a British black composer who lived at the turn of the 19th going into the 20th century. And this is from a piece called the African Suite. He was actually inspired by an American poet, Paul Laurence Dunbar, to write this African Suite. Hope you enjoy. going to head over to Norway now with the Peer Gynt Suite by Edvard Grieg, Norwegian composer Edvard Grieg. There are 4 movements from this suite from the Peer Gynt Suite. The Peer Gynt Suite is based upon a play by Heinrich Ibsen, and I guarantee you'll recognize at least some of the music. The first movement is the morning mood. You've probably heard this in commercials about waking up with the sunshine. The second movement is the Death of Åse, the mother of Peer Gynt, the main character in this play. The third is a dance, and the fourth movement, which is probably the most famous music from Peer Gynt, is a depiction of Peer Gynt running away from trolls. So if the word trolls triggers any images of movies in your mind, you will definitely recognize at least some of this music. I hope you enjoy Peer Gynt. Our next selection is an intermezzo from an opera by Mascagni. This is a beautiful opera, late 19th century Italian opera, and the music you're about to hear takes place in the middle of the opera, between two acts. The two acts have a lot of violence in them, but this is some very, very, very peaceful music, just kind of resetting the scene. Here is the intermezzo by Mascagni. I know I'm showing my age, but that piece always makes me hungry. When I was young, that was the soundtrack for a commercial for tomato sauce, pasta sauce. I don't remember whether it was Prego or Ragu, so clearly it didn't do the right job. I just remember it was for tomato sauce. We're going to move on now to a piece by Tchaikovsky. This is the last movement of his Serenade for Strings. Tchaikovsky's Serenade for Strings is really one of the best, in my opinion, best pieces ever written for string ensemble. And so here's the last movement from that selection by Tchaikovsky. Before our last selection, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Paolo and Shari.
Great. So just like with the middle school orchestra, we also have some scholarships to give out. Shari, take it away.
Well, hello again. So we have the same type of scholarships to hand out to our high school students. The Sacramento Youth Symphony, again, was extremely generous in giving every single student sitting on this stage a scholarship for their audition in May. So you guys are all good there. Your directors will have the flyers for those, so please audition. And in addition to that, every bass player up here has a $500 SYS tuition scholarship for next season. So congratulations, bass players. Oh, okay. I forgot this last time, but I'm remembering it this time. When I call your name, basses, you're already standing. You're all good. When I call your name, please stand and stay standing. Even if you're the first person I call and you have to stand for a little while, it's going to be okay. All right. So the rest of our Sacramento Youth Symphony scholarships, more $500 tuition scholarships for the 25-26 school year, to Angelina Cui. Congratulations. To Anthony Rivers. To Orion Hernandez. And Kyle Lack. There you go. Congratulations. And I have some more $1,000 scholarships for Cazadero Music Camp. You guys stay standing. Don't sit down. I'm watching you. To Cazadero Music Camp for their summer music camp. Awesome, awesome program. Dylan Lay. Ryan Shu. Sarah Bautista. Goodness. Alyssa Morales. Ellery Queck. And Joshua Wynn. I will have your envelopes in the green room, so don't leave without them, please. Congratulations, you guys. And we'll do this. I'm going to Smart guy gets it.
Okay, photo opportunities. We're going to do this right now. So, back row, so please stand up. Okay, the whole back row. There we are. Five, four, three, two, one. Okay, next row up. Please stand up. Ah. Five, four, three, two, one. Okay, sit down. Okay, next line. So stand up. Ten, nine, eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one. Thank you. All right, next row, stand up. Ten, nine, eight, six, five, four, three, two, one. Okay, thank you. Front row, stand up. Okay, you may sit down. And before we turn it back over to Maestro Kahn, just a few thank yous. Jorge Munoz and the Mascagni High School administration for their hospitality and use of this beautiful performance hall. We also have to also thank all the CMEA board members for organizing this event. The CMEA orchestra teachers, please stand up if you're in the audience. If you're in the back and you can hear me, please show yourself. Their amazing hard work these last 48 hours was unmatched, and I am so grateful to all of them for, we both are, for helping us put this all together. Our conductors, of course, Greg Brucker and Alexander Kahn. To all the parents and families in this audience, and even not in this audience, thank you for your continued support. These children are remarkably talented. It's a very humble reminder of why we do what we do. And of course, to all the musicians on stage that was on here currently and in the previous ensemble, give them another round of applause. If you're in the audience, middle school orchestra, please stand up so that we can recognize you. Yes. And without further ado, the last piece by Mr. Maestro Alexander Kahn.
All right, we have one more selection to you. This is the Hoe-Down from Aaron Copland from Rodeo, just a fantastic ballet. Thank you again for coming, and let's give one more round of applause for these incredible students.
Bravo.